upcoming. I bet it does. And I'm on my channel. Live. Yeah, it says upcoming. I don't know what to do. I genuinely don't know what to do. I don't know what's up with it. We're live on Twitch. If you want to watch me on Twitch, have at it. But we're not live on YouTube, which is the main thing, and I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to have to cancel this show. I'm going to have to cancel this episode. We'll do it next week. I have to set up a one for next week, haven't I? So I can't. So I'll work something out. I'll record it and upload it. If you're watching. I don't know if you're watching. I'm really, really angry. I don't know what's up. It's just... I don't know. Other people are streaming. Hang on. Am I coming on now? Oh, right. I'm on now. I don't know. Other people are streaming. Right. So I've just come on. I have just this minute come on. Right. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'll start again, shall I? I'll start again. I'll do the intro again. Sod it. Do the intro again. I don't know if this is going to be... I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm miffed. Proper miffed. Really getting on my nerves. That's what it's doing. Why is that taking ages? That's probably not helping. Let's get rid of that. Right, just bear with me. I'm trying to sort things out here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's my computer or I don't know if it's YouTube that's just acting up. I have no idea. But anyway, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek. I can't be bothered. That telly can stay off. Welcome to Magnificent Mondays, episode 46. This week we're doing Deep Impact. I was this close to bloody cancelling it. This close. I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, Josh Temple's here. And we're live on Twitch. We're not live on Rumble because I didn't have a chance to set up the stream on Rumble. And Wingrace is here as well. So I'm in a really, really, really bad mood now. Proper angry. The cat will come down and start getting on my nerves, and Aidan will start shouting, and everything will start... It's going to be one of those nights tonight. Anyway, right, so Deep Impact. I haven't got all my information at hand because I've had to restart my computer because I thought that was what the problem was. Starring Mimi Leader, directed by Mimi Leader, produced by Steven Spielberg and others, David Zanuck, Richard Zanuck, and David Brown. Stars Tia Leone and others. I tell you, I'm drawing a blank. What's his face? From Lord of the Rings. Him in it as well. Elijah Wood. And loads of others. I can't be bothered bloody remembering them. You have no idea how cross I am at the moment. Anyway. Right, so... Anyway, let's just get on with the film, shall we? Let's just get to the end of this bloody live stream. Right. Full screen, that. Let's get on with it. I make myself titchy tiny. I'm proper angry. Really, really mad. I've got to get rid of them and all, haven't I? Really angry. Right. Let's get on with this, shall we? Hello, Laura. It is a great movie. Unfortunately, YouTube seemed determined not to let me review it. Anyway, is it going to come on? Yes, it is. Right, there we go. A Paramount movie. Right, here we go. Right, a DreamWorks as well. I don't know, but this is the second DreamWorks film. I don't know how many they've done. Previous to this, the first DreamWorks film was The Peacemaker, also directed by Mimi Leader. And hello, Tim Rose. Tim Rose is here. I'm not sharing the chats, am I? There's Tim Rose, and there's Laura, and Wingrace saying hooray. Josh Temple saying, there you are. And Hope everybody's had a great Father's Day weekend. It doesn't really mean much to me, to be completely honest. But anyway, even though I'm a father. But anyway, never mind. Right, where was I? Mimi Leader. She directed the first film from DreamWorks, which was The Peacemaker, which is a decent, action conspiracy thriller flick starring George Clooney and what's the face, Tom Cruise's ex-wife. I'm going to be like this all night, not remembering things. So let's just get on with it, shall we? Right, off we go. Stars, Deep Impact. And we pan down, and here we're going to meet Elijah Wood, who plays Leo Biederman. And they're looking at the stars. There's his girlfriend, Sarah. Don't ask me who plays her, I can't remember. She was only 15, I think, when they made this. I think she was 14 when she was cast. Elijah Wood were only 16 when they made this film. So anyway, they're all looking at the stars because it's the local astronomy club. And anyway, so he sees something through his telescope, and something very obvious that doesn't show up on the photograph that they take. But anyway, they're asking him, what are the stars? And he says it's Mizar, it's a double star. And then he mentions what's next to it, Alcor, which is the double star. It's in the Plough, the Great Bear, the Big Dipper, whatever you want to call it. But there's also that there, isn't there? That there, which is obviously not a star. And she's saying, "Oh, what's next to it?" And she says it's the next star. And he says, "No, it's something else." Yes, Lili Sobieski. Probably mispronouncing that. Yes. As I said, I've not got my information to hand because it's all gone wrong tonight. Anyway, he says it's not that, it's something else. And then this fellow that's in charge obviously doesn't know his arse from his elbow as far as astronomy is concerned. He says, maybe it's a satellite. What? Anyway, so he says, we'll take another photo and send it to Professor Wolf or Dr. Wolf or whatever at the observatory, who we're going to meet in a little bit. So there we go. Then we get another look at it. This is the baddie of the movie. Then we cut to, it says, somewhere in Arizona. By the way, they were in Virginia. I think Richmond, it said. Richmond, Virginia. Here we are now, though, at an observatory in Tucson, Arizona. There's Charles Martin Smith as Professor, I think is it Mark Wolf? Can't remember. Anyway, Professor Wolf or Dr. Wolf, the astronomer there. You may know Charles Martin Smith from, he's been in lots of things. He was in Starman. He played the scientist in Starman. And he also directed one of my favourite Halloween films, Trick or Treat. The rock and roll one, not the one with Sam, the cloth-headed kid. The rock and roll Trick or Treat. He directed that. Anyway, so here he is. He's listening to La Boheme. And there you go. There we get this. He's opened up an envelope. He's got a photo of the astronomy club. And then he looks at the other images. And there we go. See next page. That's what they're looking at in there. And then he has another. Oh, Pete's sakes. I'm going to show it. There we go. Alcor Mizar, that's the famous double star in the Plough. It's not actually a double star, it's a line of sight thing. They're actually totally different star systems. But anyway, and then question mark, that doesn't look anything like what we saw, does it? So they must have rubbish telescopes. But anyway. So he's having a check, he's having a look on his computer, and then he gets a nice picture of it, doesn't he? And Josh Temple's here. Ooh, with a super chat. Thank you, Josh. Just a little something to make your day a bit better. Thank you very, very, very much. That's amazing. Thank you. Oh, dear. Everything was fine until it just all went wrong at 9 o'clock at my time. Anywho, where were we? So he sees it there and he says, "Oh, hello, you. What are you doing? Where are you going in such a hurry?" And then I don't know how he manages this next bit, but anyway. I presume there's a passage of time, by the way. I presume I don't know how long's passed between them taking the picture and sending it to him, but there must be a passage of time because he gets loads of data on it. But he can't have because it says uncharted. So there he gets a close up. And then he starts running loads of numbers on it. And I don't know how he's managing this. You've got to have to work out an astronomical body's orbit. You've got to have lots of observations of it, or well, at least 2 or 3. But usually lots of observations, so you can track it in the sky, so that you know where it is, from its declination and right ascension, blah blah blah, parallax, all that poo. But his computer just works it out instantly, and there we go. It's showing it that it's going to impact the Earth. Beep beep. So it gets. Hang on. There we go. There we go. It's impacting the Earth there. So he throws his pizza down, and the music comes on. Music by James Horner, by the way. So he's trying to get through to his mates. There we go, on the mail. So his pop mail server. Who's he sending it to? I don't know. He's trying to get in touch with Carolyn Shoemaker, who was the wife of, I've forgotten his name. Is it Eugene Shoemaker? One of the fellas that discovered the Shoemaker-Levy comet that smashed into Jupiter, also died. He was one of the advisors on this film, and by weird coincidence, he died the same year, I think, or maybe the year before it came out, in a car accident, much the same way that this fella's about to die in a car accident. But anyway, but he can't get through, so he's transferring it to floppy drive because it's 1998. So he gets all this information into 1.44 megabytes somehow. But there he goes. So he can't get through, so he's got to do it by hand. I don't know where he's going. The post office, maybe. I don't know. But what's he looking at? There he goes. He's looking at the other person that found it. So it's going to be called Wolf Biederman, because you need 2 people, apparently, to name a comet or an astronomical body. Anyway, there he goes. Written it on the floppy disk and shoved it in an envelope. There we go. Puts it in his car and he's heading out to somewhere. I don't know where he's going. As I said, maybe the post office, but he's heading out to tell the people who need to know that there's a comet going to hit us. So he's driving away, and then there's a truck driver who's smoking cigarettes and drinking fizzy drinks and making it all go wrong and dropping his cigarette. But he's on the phone. Don't phone and drive at the same time. Just saying. So everybody's distracted. There we go. He's dropped his cigarette. And then, they hit each other. He has a glancing blow. There we go. He goes flying. The shot a scene, or a shot, not a scene, a shot of the envelope flying out of the car window. But they decided, no, they won't do that. But his car goes over the cliff. And as cars do in movies, that happens. He must have soaked it in petrol or something. I don't know. Something highly flammable. I think you can just see the wire pulling it down there. Is that? I think you can. Because it comes to rest down here and you can see the wire spoiling the magic of Hollywood. But anyway. So, unfortunately, Dr. Wolf, Professor Wolf, whatever the hell he is, I'm going to have to... Let's open up IMDb so I can get these names right. Now we're back on track. By the way, the budget for this film was, I think, $80 million. Hang on, I've gone wrong. I think it said 80 million. A not insignificant sum back in 1998. Yes, $80 million, but its box office was $349.5 million. And it actually started off, so it was released around the same time as Armageddon. And it actually started off doing better than Armageddon, but Armageddon ended up making more money overall in its theatrical run. But anyway, it was the 10th highest grossing movie of 1998. So there we go. So it did all right. Right. Who am I looking for? Where am I? Into even in the first lot. By the way, Doug Ray Scott's in this. And I've seen this film loads of times. I still don't know who he plays. Right, who we're looking for? Charles Martin Smith. Dr. Marcus Wolf. There we go, we're close. Not a professor. Anyway, he's dead. Anyway, whatever he is, he's dead. He's burned to death in his car. Don't know what happened to the envelope. Did it fly out the window? Don't know. It obviously gets found because that's a year passes. It says 1 year later in a minute. And then we're in the studio. There we go, Washington, D.C., 1 year later. We're in the studios of MSNBC. I think in the original script, I think it was CNN. I could be wrong. They went round various news services, and finally MSNBC. They said, you can use us, because I think it was a new thing back then. So it was good publicity for them. Anyway, so we're in the office here, and this is where we meet Tia Leone. There she is there. The wife of David Duchovny. You may know her from, I don't know, what else she's been in? Jurassic Park 3. I'm sure she's been in other things as well. And that's her boss. Don't ask me her name either. I can't remember. Beth Stanley, played by Laura Innes. She's her boss. Anyway, they're in a meeting about, politics and stuff like that, news, etc. And we learned that one of the president's men, I can't remember, Rittenhouse, played by James Cromwell, Secretary Rittenhouse, yes, has resigned. I can't remember what his role is, but he's resigned to be with his family. Because his wife says his wife's ill, and then Jenny Lerner pipes up. She's not ill, she's a drunk, because she's got an inside source at the White House. There she is. Kind of reminds me of Denise Crosby, who we'll also see in this film. They're like, I don't know, there's something. They're very similar to me. Maybe it's just the hair, I don't know, and also that they've both got moustaches. But anyway. So she's drinking away. Is Rittenhouse's wife. Oh, something happened then, didn't it? Are we still on? Yes. I always forget Denise Crosby's in this film. Yes, she is, and really low on the cast list as well. Unfortunately. Are we still going? Are we still going? Yes, we are. Will we make it to the end? We will see. There she's telling, I forgot her name already. Beth. Telling Beth about her inside man, Mike Woodward. Where she got the information. So she's telling her to, keep on that case. But she's wanting other jobs. She's wanting. Am I back on? I have no idea. Do you know what? I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother. If we're having these problems, I'm not gonna make it to the end of this, am I? It's gonna keep kicking me off. Yep. So you know what? I'm gonna call it a draw. I'm not gonna bother. I'll cancel this stream. Thanks, Josh, though, for the $4.99. I'm gonna have to just call it quits with this, and I'll try again another time. I might try tomorrow. I might try again tomorrow night and see what happens. But we can't keep going on and off, can we? Or shall I just try and carry on now? Shall I try and carry on? Since I'm back on now, right? Okay, we'll give it one more go. If I go off again, then I'm going to stop and we'll try another day. So I don't know if it's a problem with me or with YouTube. I don't know. But you're saying I'm back on. So, right. Fair enough. So we'll keep going. I tell you, it's going to be one of those nights. It's going to be a long night, isn't it? Right. Where were we? Oh, right. She's wanting a promotion. Another position has come up. But her boss won't let her, take it up. So she wants to keep her for herself. And here we also see that her boss has got a daughter in the, what do they call it? Creche. We call them creches here. I don't know what you call them. Nursery, whatever. Kindergarten, whatever. You're never a problem. YouTube is a problem. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's YouTube or me or what. I don't know. But anyway. Right. So she's got to follow up the Rittenhouse case. Find out why this cabinet minister or whatever you call him over there, secretary of whatchamacallits, has resigned. Played by James Cromwell. But first, she's going to have a drinky poo with her mother. You can see that her mother smokes. She smokes Rothmans. Looks like a nearly empty packet. And she's drinking, I think, martinis, I think they're drinking. And her mother is, Robin Lerner, is played by Vanessa Redgrave, an all-star cast. And we're learning that her father, Jenny's father, Robin's ex-husband, played by Maximilian Schell, is getting married to a younger woman this very day. That's why she's saying she's walking down the aisle, they're throwing flowers and stuff like that. And then we learn that the woman that her dad is marrying is only 2 years older than Jenny, played by Rhea something or other. Rhea Kilstead. Who plays Chloe, who is Jenny's new mother-in-law. And in the film, she's only 2 years older, but actually Rhea Kilstead, if that's how you pronounce it, is actually 4 years younger than Tia Leone. But anyway, they're having a little laugh about it, I suppose. She calls her Chlorine instead of Chloe, etc. So they have a laugh about that. But anyway, you can see she's not entirely happy about it. But Jenny's got to go, and she tells her mum to be good. So we'll see her again. Don't worry, it's not a fleeting part, right? So now she's talking to the secretary or the ex-secretary of or PA or assistant, whatever you call them. Of Senator Rittenhouse, and they're in front of the Capitol building. And this is weird. They were saying in the commentary, I watched it early on with the director's commentary, and you're basically allowed to film right outside the White House, well, outside the fence or whatever, but basically right outside the White House. But they struggled to get permission to film in front of the Capitol, and they had to film they couldn't film on, as we'll see in a minute. There's a lake or a pond or whatever there. There it is. They weren't allowed to film on that side, on the far side of the pond, closest to the Capitol building. They had to film on this side for some weird reason. But yet you were allowed to film right up at the White House. But anyway, so we learned that she's out of a job now because she wasn't part of the White House staff or whatever. So when he resigned, she was out of a job. She didn't get moved on to somebody else. So she's a bit miffed about that. So she's basically spilling her guts about what she knows about his retirement. Not his retirement, his resignation. So, by the way, this is where we get the... there may be 2 F-bombs in this, but I'm not sure. I thought this is a 12 certificate, so it might have been a PG-13 in America. I thought you were only allowed 1 F-bomb, but there you go. That's the F-bomb that we got there. And I think there might be one more later on, but it's by a foreigner, so it might be disguised as another word, I don't know. But anyway, a Russian chap. So she's spilling her guts about what she thinks has gone on, and she thinks he's had an affair with a woman called Ellie. So she's saying, she's going to give the name Ellie, and that's all she got. And there were private phone lines. Says, I think the president knows, and it's all a big secret. So there's something going on, but she thinks it's just about an affair that the man's having. But he's had affairs before, apparently, which is one of the things that started his wife drinking. Rittenhouse, that is, not the president. So there we go. So she goes to Rittenhouse's house in wherever it is. in a Saab with the MSNBC van in tow. So here she goes, and we learn that he's got a boat and he's stocking up his boat and heading out somewhere. He meets this young girl. This is his daughter. We see he's stocking up on whatever that is. What is it? Avalon. I have no idea what that is, but it's a 6-pack sport cap. I've no idea. They're stocking up on stuff on the boat. Ensure complete balanced nutrition. And here we meet James Cromwell. A few Star Trek actors in this, by the way. Quite a few Star Trek actors. As I said, there's Denise Crosby, there's James Cromwell, there's Tucker Smallwood's been in Star Trek, hasn't he? I'm sure he has. We see Kurtwood Smith. Who else? There's probably more that I've missed. Anyway, I hope we're still going. I'm going to check. Are we still going? Yes, I think we are still going, yes. And we are still live on Twitch. By the way. Fingers crossed. I'm saying we are. I hope we are. Right, anyway, he comes out of the boat and tells the cameraman, can you stop doing that? And he sends Lily back to the house and said, we just want to talk about your resignation. And he says, my wife's sick, she's in the hospital, I want to be with my family. And then she drops the bombshell about Ellie. We could just talk about Ellie. And then he stops and turns around. He says, turn the camera off and I'll talk to you. So they turn the camera off. And he says, what do you know about, Ellie or whatever? I said, you used to be a person once, why don't you just be a human being? And obviously she doesn't know what he's talking about. He said, congratulations, you've got the biggest story in history. And, the Secretary of the Treasury, that's what he was. So he says, there you go, you have the biggest story in history, and there's now I want to be with my family. By the way, it's supposed to head out in that boat to God knows where, but apparently later on, when it all hits the fan, I think they filmed a bit, or it was in the script, where we see his boat again being carried along by the disaster, but they didn't bother with that. Anyway, so there you go. He's saying it's a mistake to run the story about Ellie. Obviously, he thinks she's talking about something else. She thinks they're all at cross purposes. But this is where he's telling her, used to be a person once, and try and be a nice person again. Anyway. Right, so next we see they're on a bridge. I think this is in DC, Washington DC. They actually closed this bridge for a whole day, apparently, just for this small scene where we see Jenny's car. There we go, driving along, and she's using a recording thing, saying, "Biggest story in history. What an ego." So anyway, but then as she's driving, that was a good pause, wasn't it? She gets hit from behind by another car. She gets surrounded by cars, black sedans, I suppose you call them. And they force her off the road and corral her down this side road and move her to another car. And they're taking her here and for a clandestine meeting, and in some kitchen somewhere, but in reality, this is it the Mayflower Hotel? I could be wrong. Hang on, I might have it in my notes. Have I ever put my notes? Are they here? Have I got them back? I've got it here somewhere. Hang on. No, Ambassador Hotel. Here we go. It's filmed in the kitchen of the Ambassador Hotel in LA. It's supposed to be in DC, but it's filmed in LA, where Robert F. Kennedy were assassinated. There we go. So that's where this were filmed. And they actually said it were really spooky. But anyway, probably just because they know the history of the place. But anyway, that's where it were filmed. Who's this fella, by the way? He introduces himself, but I forgot what he says his name is. What does he say? Morton Entrikin. I've no idea. Is he? I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's like the chief of staff or just some assistant. But anyway, he works for a certain person, and he says to her, they kept the Manhattan Project secret, and she says, "Well, that was just the creation of the atomic bomb." And I actually like her in when she's like this, when she's being this reporter and she's doing all this stuff. I quite like her, but when later on we see her as a news anchor, I think she goes all stiff and awkward, and I don't like her in that. But anyway. Then we find out who she's really here to meet, and here he comes. There he is. Morgan Freeman as the president. President somebody or other. I've forgotten his name. President Beck. There we go. I think he says his first name, but I don't know his first name. Does it say here? Bear with me. Tom Beck, President of the United States of America. Anyway. So she says, "What do you know?" She says, "Well, know about Ellie and all that." I said, "What do you know about ELE?" So that's a clue that there's more going on. Anyway, so obviously she still doesn't know what's going on. She still thinks Ellie's a woman, but now she's probably thinking the cogs are going. She's thinking, what's going on here? So he says that we were going to go public in a few months or something when the budget came out, because we've spent more money than we can hide. That doesn't matter, does it? Governments are always hiding what they've spent. They're always losing trillions of dollars, aren't they? Or there's trillions unaccounted for. So what does it matter? Anyway, so he said, "Can you give us 2 weeks?" And she says, "There's no such thing as 2 weeks in the news business." So they decide they're going to do a press conference in 48 hours. And she's going to get the first question. At first, she's all, "I want the first question, and I want this, and I want that." And he says, "Young lady, basically, you'll get what you're given." So, right. So she's obviously, now she notices there's all these supplies. They're supplying up for some, but it's a hotel, isn't it? But anyway, never mind. So they're going to do that. So she's going to be at a press conference, and she's going to get the first question in 48 hours. Anyway, so that's the end of that meeting. So she goes back to her office, and then she's it's all flowing down the drain in Cheyenne Mountain. Yes, it is. That's where all the money's going, isn't it? Costs $1 billion just to keep the lights on in that place, doesn't it? Anyway, she's on her state-of-the-art internet, which I could probably do with tonight, to be completely honest. But anyway, looking up, is it Yahoo maybe or something like that? Looking up ELE on Tinternet, on old Tinternet, with all the old CRT screens. Some clues as to what's going to happen at the end of the film. You've got some ocean coming. She certainly does towards the end. But it's coming up with all Ellie stuff, because she's typed in ELE. Is there more clues? Saw it written in the stars. Stairway to the stars. The clues. But there was another thing as well. What I thought I saw another thing about. Oh, there we go. Ellie, the wave of the future. That's another clue for later. Anyway, she tries typing in ELE. E dot. There we go. E dot L dot E dot. And that just brings up one result, because it was the early days of the internet. So I imagine if you typed in E.L.E. these days, you get about 1 billion results, wouldn't you? But she gets one. There we go. And we find out it stands for Extinction Level Event. There we go. Basically, when an asteroid or comet hits the Earth and wipes out loads of species, like what happened 65 million years ago, that helped the demise of the dinosaurs. So there we go. So she's realised what she's uncovered. And then Beth arrives with a kid. Invites her to dinner, but she says, "No, I've made plans." She doesn't tell her that, she's going to get first question at a presidential press conference, but she's keeping all that stum. Anyway, right. So now she's off. She's busy. She hasn't got a time. She hasn't got 5 minutes to herself, has she? Anyway, so she's meeting her dad and his new wife, Chloe. in a hotel. I forgot they said the name of the hotel in the audio commentary, but I've forgotten. It's across from the White House in Washington, D.C., but I can't remember what they called it. So she's gone to meet them for a drink. He says he wanted her to be there at the wedding, but obviously she wasn't there. They brought her a gift. Obviously, she's shell shocked, by the way, about what she's just discovered. So she's kind of out of it a bit. She orders a martini, a big one, and there he's saying, should have been there. The twins were running round. Whoever the twins are these kids with her or the other kids? I've no idea. It doesn't tell us. Are they her stepsisters? Jenny's stepsisters? God knows. Anyway, so they bought her a gift, and so I don't like the way she opens it. I know she's still reeling from the information that she's just discovered, but look, she just opens things up and just throws things to one side. But anyway, and it's some earrings. She opens them up. Hang on, there we go. Some earrings, and apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but Tia Leone hasn't got her ears pierced. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, yes, step. What? I don't know what that means. Anyway, I don't think she's got her ears pierced, but I could be wrong. Let's have a look. Can we see? I can't see any. She hasn't got any earrings in, but I can't see any holes. Let me get a close up on her ears. We'll have to have a look. So maybe that's why she doesn't like them. Anyway, she gets her drink comes and she just gulps it all down in one and nearly throws up. And they're all, what's going on? Anyway, there she's looking at him, and Chloe's saying, I know you hate me and all that stuff, but just give it a chance. People have to get on with their lives. And then she laughs because she's on about getting on with your lives. There we go. And he's saying, what's so funny about life goes on? By the way, Maximilian Schell, Oscar winner. Several Oscar winners in this film, by the way. I have that highlighted as well in my notes. Where is it? There we go. Robert Duvall. These are the Oscar winners in the film, by the way. Robert Duvall, Morgan Freeman, Vanessa Redgrave, and Maximilian Schell and James Cromwell were nominated for an Oscar. I think for Babe, wasn't it? Anyway. Right, so she laughs at, life going on, because obviously she knows that life's going to end, the end of the world's coming. So she says, Dad, you need to get back together with Mom. She's all alone in the world and she needs you. And he says, well, I've just got married, for Christ's sake, and all that. Because he doesn't know what's happening. He thinks she's just been a bratty young woman. But anyway, so she says, I've got to go. And she says, sorry, Chloe, you probably think I'm a bad person, but I'm not. And I don't hate you, but I've just got to go. So, right. So, then we cut to outside the White House. It's raining. There we go. And they're right outside the White House, just the gates there. But the Capitol building, no, it's got to be miles away. But anyway. Right, so here for the press conference. Obviously, this isn't the White House, it's a set. So in the go. Apparently, this set for the I don't know what they call it, press conference room or whatever it's called in the White House, were made for something else, and I forgot what they said. What it were built for originally. This set, and for the film or TV series or whatever they made it for, almost destroyed it. They wouldn't get rid of it because they thought nobody will ever use this again. But apparently, at the time of the audio commentary for this film, it says it gets used like at least 2 times a year. So loads of films and TV series are always using this exact press conference set. But anyway, that's by the by. Right, so she sees Beth there. Beth saying, what are you doing here? But then she gets whisked away. He arrives and whisks her away, and she's got a reserved seat. So he says, he'll find you for the first question, then you're on your own. And then Beth's all, looking at her as though, what's going on here? So anyway. Right, so in comes the president. apparently that room as well, they actually went into the press conference room or whatever it's called, briefing room, I don't know what it's called, in the White House. I think Mimi Leader and people, I suppose, they went in on a tour or a visit or whatever, and they said it's really not a very well kept room. You'd think it'd be all pristine and lovely, wouldn't you? But they said it's all got all scuff marks everywhere. But it says it's not as nice as you think it would be. But anyway, right. So he's telling everybody what's going on. So he's telling us that a year ago, because a year has passed. Remember, a year ago, a comet was discovered by astronomers Leo Biederman and Marcus Wolf from Arizona. Obviously, he don't know that Leo Biederman's a 16-year-old kid. But he's telling them that they discovered a comet that's basically going to hit the Earth in, I don't know when, 10 months' time, I think they said something like that. I think it's 10 months' time. This is, here we go. There he is. This is Leo watching the news, because, 16-year-old kids are always watching the news. Should be in his room, shouldn't he, listening to music or playing on his Sega Genesis or whatever. But anyway, never mind. So here's his name mentioned. So they're all, oh, do they mean you? And I'd be like, well, no, it can't be me. It's the president. The president doesn't talk about me. But I did discover that thing, but never mind. By the way, you may recognise his dad. I'm sure he's been in loads of stuff, but I know him from The Lost World, Jurassic Park. He played the tech guy who gets ripped apart by T-Rexes. And she's famous as well, but I can't remember what for. Right, so comet's going to hit the Earth. So they've got a plan. They're building. They've built a big spaceship up in orbit that they call the Messiah. And apparently that name is not an accident or whatever, or a coincidence. Apparently the original wooden mock-up that NASA built, for testing and stuff like that at wherever, it was originally made of wood. They called that the Messiah because every time astronauts walked into it, they went, Jesus Christ. So they called it the Messiah, apparently. But anyway, they've built a big spaceship called the Messiah, and they're going to fly it with nuclear bombs, and they're going to drill down. They've got these drills that have the nuclear bombs on, and they're going to drill down into the comet and then, blow it up. Either divert it or just blow it into smithereens. So, we learn it's 7 miles long is the core of this comet. Right. So, then all the newsrooms go haywire, and she's like saying, have you got information about the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs? And then, so they're all wanting graphics, etc. He's talking about comets. So, there you go. For the past 8 months, United States and Russia have been building the Messiah. So, they're going to go. There we go. This we meet the crew of the Messiah. We'll go from right to left. We've got Robert Duvall, who plays Captain Spurgeon Tanner, the last man to walk on the moon, apparently. And the shuttle pilot and all that. But he's not in command of the mission. That fella is. He is, whose name I've forgotten. But... Just let me check, because I've forgotten. Where are we? Oren Monash, played by Ron Eldred. He's in command. But we've also got Blair Underwood as, if I can find his name, as Mark Simon. Well, Blair Underwood in Sequest, DSV, or was that somebody else? Can't remember. Then next to him this is the mission specialist, the nuclear bomb specialist, who is I can't find him. I'm looking down the bloody cast list. Why have they got him so low down? There we go. Alexander Baluev. They called him Sasha on set. He plays Mikhail Tulchinsky. Then next to him, we've got what's her face? Mary McCormack as Andrea Baker. She's a pilot. And then the medical chap, you may recognise him. It's John Favreau as Gus Partenza. Right, so that's the team that's heading out. No No Bruce Willis and no drilling experts on this mission. They're getting the astronauts to do it. Make sure we're still going. Yes, we are. Right. So they're introducing themselves. Right. There we go. There you go. Captain Tanny flew 6 shuttle missions. He was the last man to walk on the moon and all that. He says, "Oh, he'll be just flying the Messiah down to the comet surface. That's his job." So anyway, right. So then he's gonna. It's freezing all wages. There'll be no profiteering, and if anybody breaks the law, there'll be swift punishments and stuff like that. Life will go on, and I think in this speech he actually said, in the original take, he said, life will go on. This is not Armageddon. But they took that out when they found out that there's actually a film called Armageddon being made at the same time, so they took that out. Anyway, which were funny. Right, so it's taking questions. First one from Jenny Lerner. So she asks her question. They're all like, "What? Jenny Lerner? What's she doing there?" All the people that work with her. She asked, "Why wasn't this announcement made sooner?" And said, "Well, they had to work it out, make sure that the plan that they had were feasible. They didn't want to panic people, unnecessarily." What we're looking at there? I have no idea what we're looking at there. Photographs of things. Oh, it's I don't know. Is it a mother? It's a mother, isn't it? I think. Yes, it is. So she's watching her daughter proudly. She's thinking, "What the?" And then she asks about, why Rittenhouse resigned and all that stuff. Saying some people in the administration didn't agree that the Messiah would work, which is why Rittenhouse resigned. And he says, "But Rittenhouse resigned because his wife's poorly and all that." So there we go. So we will prevail. He says, "What is the comet's name?" So we named it for Wolf Biederman, after the 2 astronomers that discovered it. Right. So, meanwhile, at I forgot his bloody name already. What's his name? Oh God, my memory. Where are you, Leo? There we go, Leo Biederman. Should remember that, shouldn't I? Hey. Leo Biederman's house. People are coming to see him because he's super famous now. So there we go. Everybody, all the neighbours are coming round. By the way, this was filmed on the Universal backlot. They must have a neighbourhood set on the Universal backlot. Because they needed it to have a lovely, suburban, row of houses, which gets knackered up later on, we'll see. When civilization kind of goes to pot. Anyway, see, now he's on Newsweek. Biederman alive, because I thought they died, in the conflagration. But anyway, he's at school now, being super famous. And then this kid stands up. There we go. He stands up and says, "You're going to have more sex than anybody else because you're super famous." And he's like, "What, am I?" And famous people always get sex, and everyone's going, "Ha ha ha," because it's all funny. Yes, Leo's gonna get laid. He gets married in this film. What's the age of consent in Virginia, by the way? Don't know. It must be 16, but I don't know. It is here, anyway. Right, anyway, with the astronauts now, there we are, with their families, having a little party, all talking about astronauty stuff. There's Jon Favreau, a very young Jon Favreau, well, a younger Jon Favreau, meeting all their family. Here's Spurgeon. Fish is his nickname. Becomes Spurgeon Tanner, but his nickname's Fish. They're his 2 sons who are obviously in the military. His wife's died, by the way, I think quite recently. Within like a few years. but reasonably recently. So he's telling them, I'll come back, don't worry, and all that stuff. Then we meet Kurtwood Smith. He's like the mission controller or whatever at NASA. So he's stealing him away to talk to him about stuff. He's asking him about the crew, and he says, they're a good crew, a bit young, but I'll hold my own with them. But they don't think as highly of him, because they're in a bar later on, not speaking very well of Fish, saying he's there for publicity, because he walked on the moon and stuff like that. But he says, I'm there because of my experience, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so there you go. They're here because the powers that be wanted a familiar face. It'd be like putting Buzz Aldrin, on the mission, wouldn't it? Or John Glenn or something like that. But he said, no, I'm there because, I'm the one that can get you down there. I'm the one with the experience. I'm the one that landed on the moon and all that stuff. So that's why he's there. So, right, off we go. Messiah mission, day 1. And they actually went and filmed a shuttle launch. The Messiah's up in orbit, by the way. It's not like Armageddon where they have 2 huge shuttles launching simultaneously. The Messiah's up in orbit. And they're just launching on the shuttle on Atlantis, I think. So they actually went and filmed it. There's the wives, astronauts' wives. There we go. There's the launch of the shuttle. There we go. And they said, Mimi Leader said, when we went, said you can put your cameras here, here, and here, in about 5 places. And she says that the actual footage we used wasn't from any of those places that NASA told us we could put the cameras. But anyway. Right, so there we go. Off it goes into space. Can't beat a good rocket launch. And here we go. A special effects shot. Probably, I think this is his first one. I think it's the first one of the film, isn't it? A visual effects shot. Here it is. Not CG. There's some CG in this. Quite a lot of CG. Once we get to the comet, and there's wire removal and all that stuff, that's CG in it. But I think the Messiah is actually a big model. Don't know how big, but it's a model. So they're getting ready to set off to the comet. It's going to take them 5 months to get there. So they're cutting it fine, aren't they? Oh dear. Because I think 5 months. I think 5 months have passed by the time we get here. I think, and then another 5 months for them to get there. So that's it. They're cutting it fine. But anyway, so off they go. Orion bird. No, it's the Orion engine, a nuclear-powered engine or whatever. Off it goes. There we go. Heading to warp factor 1, but not quite. Right. This might be 5 months later. I think it says. Is it? Could say that 5 months later. I'm sure it does. Oh, whatever. They're in a meeting. She asks, what's she got to do? And he says, you're the anchor or whatever. And she goes, hey. And he says, well, you'd have made it sooner if you hadn't kept, information from me or whatever. There we go. Don't hold back a story from me again. So I think this is going all the way back to the beginning when she didn't tell him immediately what she knew about Ellie, E-L-E. But anyway. But she's got her promotion that she wanted. Right, so they're arriving at the comet. They're supposed to be 0G. There's a couple of shots where they're on wires and the wires are painted out. But most of the time they're just bobbing up and down like that. Or the camera's floaty. Lo-fi effects. But then there we see the comet. Kind of reminds me of the beginning of Deep Space Nine. But anyway, there it is. And there's just a teeny tiny little spaceship there, just to show you how big the comet is, showing the teeny tiny little spaceship heading in. Right, so lots of keystrokes and levers and doing all that stuff. There we go. These are the nuclear weapons. or as never mind. I would say vessels, but anyway. So they're floating them about, putting them on the drilling rigs that we're going to see. So that's what they're going to do. Then the Messiah detaches from the I don't know what you call it, the booster part, I suppose you call it, of the ship. In a minute. There we go. They're getting into position, and the Messiah will detach in a minute. Hang on, there it goes. There it goes. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Gear porn for us lads. There we go. So off there. They're going down now. They leave the booster part up, tagging along with the comet. And they're going to fly down, do their stuff, fly back up again, reattach, and head back home. That's what the plan is. Right, so Jenny Lerner's presenting this special broadcast about the mission, and I don't think she's a very good anchor woman, to be honest. She seems a bit stiff and awkward. But anyway, so she's telling everybody what's going on. They're getting into their spacesuits. And Spurgeon and Andrea are going to be the pilots that's going to set down on the comet. And this is where he's given a little speech about riverboat pilots who only knew a few miles of the river because the river's course kept changing. So each pilot only knew his little bit of the river. So I don't know what he's on about. So he's going to take them down manually, and it's super strong. I think it's made out of titanium or something, the hull of the ship, so it can survive, impacts from cometary debris. They're watching. Oh, he's holding her hand, look, because she's his girlfriend. Right, but they lose contact. Once they enter the coma of the comet, they lose contact. Like flying into a nebula in Star Trek. Anyway, so in they go. There we go. Heading in. Cool. Look, no, it's hit something. I don't know what it hit, but they seem fine. Should have used unobtainium. Yes, they should. They should have used unobtainium. From the core, obviously, not unobtainium from Avatar, which is a different thing, isn't it? In Avatar, it's a superconductor, isn't it? But in the core, it's super strong metal, isn't it? Anyway, there's Denise Crosby. Did you see her there? Oh, we'll see her again in a minute. There she is. There's Denise Crosby, who in this film is expecting. We see her with the baby later on. Showing that life goes on. People are still having babies. I always mean the core. I like Avatar. I like both the Avatar films. I think they're good. I think the core's good as well. Stupid, but good. Where were we? So everybody's watching. Oh, and there we go. But meanwhile, in Times Square, Fire in the Sky is on at the pictures, as well as From Here to Eternity, but Fire in the Sky, which is a good film. I like Fire in the Sky. Not exactly accurate as to what really happened. Everything in the just going off on a tangent, everything in the Fire in the Sky film, it's about the Travis Walton UFO abduction, is kind of accurate, apart from the actual showing inside the UFO, what happened to him in the UFO. All that's totally different to how he described it. But everything else is okay, is realistic. Anyway, right, so there we go, all crowds watching what's going on. Because these guys are going to save the world. So in they come. They're firing tether pitons, which is cool. There we go. Would that work? I don't know. But anyway. Speaking of which, speaking of Deep Impact, at the same time as this film was being produced, NASA were working out their own Deep Impact mission, which happened later, I think in the early 2000s, 2005, can't remember, when they smashed something into an asteroid, didn't they? But apparently the name was coincidental. I bet it wasn't. Anyway, right, so the ship's anchored to the comet now. By the way, all this is a set, apparently. In a big sound stage, all made out of like carved foam and spray painted. Because you had to watch where you stepped, apparently. It all looks solid, but you could easily put your foot through it. So to be careful. So anyway, they're going down. It's turned off the engines. They're ready now. There we go. They've got 6 hours, 18 minutes, and 22 seconds before they ask, because they've landed on the far side or whatever, and they've got to get the job done before the asteroid rotates and is in the glare of the sun again. Like what happened in Enterprise. Speaking of Enterprise, grapplers. Because that happened in Enterprise, didn't it? I'm sure it did. In that episode. Was it Shuttle Pod 1, that episode, or in Breaking the Ice episode? I can't remember. Where they were on an asteroid and the sun creeps over the horizon. That could be in the name of the episode as well. I can't remember. Sun creeped over the horizon and activated all the jet streamers and stuff. Started melting the ice basically and causing jets to fly off. So they've got to get it done before then. Was there a similar thing in Armageddon? I can't remember. Probably not. Right, so off they go, heading across the comet, the surface of the comet, floating about. Even though there is a little bit of gravity. Was it breaking the ice? I knew Wingrave said no. Wingrave knows all. Anyway, she's describing what they're doing. There we go. They've got the mole. I think they said the 3 of them. It's going to drill down to 100 metres, and they've got a 5,000 kiloton warhead. Why not just say 5 megaton? I'm sorry, Americans, why do you always make the numbers sound bigger? Because you always have measure things in weights, in pounds as well. Because they were on about earlier on with the shuttle, with its 500,000 pounds of thrust. No, fuel, not thrust. 500,000 pounds of fuel to get it up into orbit. Why not just say 250 tons? But anyway, Armageddon. I'd like trapped gas. I think it's ages since I've watched Armageddon, but I do like it. But I like this better. Anyway, so they've got to drill down with that and then fly away and remotely detonate the. There we go. The bombs. So they're drilling away. They've got an hour and 36 left. It says it's taking too long. The sun's coming. This is this scientist chap talking about activate the high-speed gas jets. I still haven't seen Dougray Scott yet, by the way. That's not him, is it? I don't know. Who does he play? Eric Venacore. Is that him then? Is that? Let's see if it says his name. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Is it going to say? Oh no, it doesn't say. Never mind. I don't know. Right, where were we? So that's it. Activate the high-speed gas jets when the ice melts and all stuff. It comes out in highly pressurised whatever. Anyway, one of the drills gets stuck, so it's to go down and jump on it. So that's what he does, and that works. So he jumps down and jumps up and down on it, and it starts going again. Right, so they're heading back. The sun's about to come up. They're going to go and meet him, by the way. They said, the sun's coming, we're going to come and meet you, so they don't have to walk as much. So they're on the way back up, and then they see that the sun breaches the horizon, so they've all got to close their visors. Is he getting stuck or something? I don't know. No, they're still faffing with this. And they're still jumping up and down on it. But it does go. Right, so. Right, they're off. Right, the 34 seconds. So, the sun's rising, coming up faster. That's when they're going to set off after them now. There they go. Shields down, or whatever. To cover up their faces. And it's all getting dramatic. And but Oren, I forgot his name. Oren, where are you? Oren Monash, the mission commander, Oren Monash. He doesn't get his visor down in time, as we'll see in a minute. So he comes flying up out of this hole. He doesn't get his visor down in time, and he gets blinded by the light. Blinded by the light. My eyes. Ah! Why just shut his eyes? I know the sun's bright, but it's bright on Earth, isn't it? Or is it the radiation? I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know what the justification is for it. Or maybe it's just because it's super hot. I don't know. But anyway, I don't understand why he gets all burned. He gets all blisters on his face. I don't understand it. Would that happen in real life? I don't know. I'm not an astronaut expert. Anyway, there you go. He's gone. Luckily, we're tethered. He's gone sailing up into space, but they've caught him. So they bring him back down and set off back. Another, I think Blair Underwood also, he breaks his arm or something in this part. And we see them all walking towards the ship. All we can hear is them breathing go as they're heading back. But then poor John Favreau, Gus Partenza, he's trundling along here, and then suddenly, bang! Oh no! He's been blown into space. We're losing one. It's 1,000 feet and climbing, so he's heading into space, like Major Tom. So anyway, all the rest get back, but they've lost Gus. They all get back, and she says the payload bay doors aren't closed yet, and he says we'll close them as we go. So they're heading back. It's all exciting. Right, so on Earth, they're waiting, for news, of what's happened. And then Fish comes on, telling them that the bombs are planted, and but they've lost Gus Partenza, and Oren Monash is injured. So basically, he's in command now. He's the next in command. Is she Gus Partenza's wife? Maybe. She doesn't look happy. All right, and the Russian fella, who's called something, I've forgotten already, Mikhail, he says, we've got to go and get Gus. And this could be the other F-bomb. Just let me check. Is it? Is this the other F-bomb? Hang on. Just bear with me. We can still find him. He has a beacon. Right, and Fish has been really calm, saying, just sit down and be quiet. It is another F-bomb. I thought there was. There's 2 F-bombs in this film. Oh, it is naughty. So, but it's saying we've got to find him. He's up there. He's dying. Because obviously he's not dead. He's floating about in space, unless he gets, I suppose, hit by a lump of comet. But anyway, but they can't go and get him. We'd use most of our propellant. They haven't got the fuel to go and find him. So we can't just leave him. And so if we go back for him, we all die. And he's saying, we can't. He's shouting and bawling. He's Mikhail, but there we go. Fish is all calm. He's the experienced one. He just says it quietly, no shouting them. Not like Apollo 13 where they're all bouncing off the walls. He's just saying, "Sit down, Mick. Sit down. It's okay." So keeping calm. So he does. He knows really that Gus is doomed. And he's, float off into space. And when his air runs out, he'll die. And all that. And they actually, I don't know if they filmed them, but in the script, there were scenes with Gus Partenza. And they were actually talking to him on the radio. They could still hear him and speak to him on the radio. And he was sending messages saying, about his wife. And he was even singing, and all that stuff. I suppose until he were out of range or whatever. And then, then he were gone. But they decided not to bother with that. But I think that'd have been kind of cool myself. But anyway. Right, so they're heading out. They've got to head back and redock with the, whatever it's called, the booster. There you go. She's telling him about Gus Partenza that has passed away. So that's the first casualty. We see she's doing stuff with Oren's eyes. We see he's all blistered and stuff. So it's just really bad sunburn, maybe. I don't know. Also, Blair Underwood got his. We see him with something on his arm, so I think he broke his arm. Anywho, right. It's docked with the Orion-powered booster, that's what it's called. So they're getting ready to detonate the bombs. So, look, he's got a thing on his arm. So I think that might have happened when they were getting back into the ship. They were on tethers, the connected tethers, and they pulled them into the ship. And he sort of like got bashed about a bit. I think that's what happened with him. Right, so they're getting ready. See, pressing buttons and typing. By the way, Mikhail's keyboard, you notice, is in Russian, Cyrillic. So we've got all weapons are armed. So why are they using Russian nukes? Are Russian nukes better than American ones? Don't know. Technically, I suppose so. The Russians did detonate the largest ever nuclear explosion, didn't they? But there we go. And then, hang on. It pulls the lever, and then, off it goes. Boom! And then they lose contact again because of the blast. But then we see when I saw this, I was going, turn it into the wave, like Sulu. There we go. It's like the Excelsior getting caught in the subspace shockwave from Praxis. In it, Windgrace. In it. Tell me. Agree with me. Anyway, so they're all getting blown about a bit, and they go decompression, and there's fires and stuff. And somebody says, "I'll get the hail on." I thought, you don't be getting hail on, do you? Hail on kills you. Just get a fire extinguisher or a fire blanket. Anyway, they're all waiting to see if it's worked. Look, I was just looking at screens. Has it worked? And then we're going to cut to Tucker Smallwood in the White House operations room, or whatever it's supposed to be. There he's Tucker Smallwood. You may know from, Space Above and Beyond. I think he's been in Star Trek. I'm sure he's been in Star Trek. I'm sure he's been in Star Trek several times, to be honest. What else have I seen him in? Contact. We saw him in Contact as well. He always plays this sort of person, doesn't he? An authority figure. Anyway. So he's on the phone, and this is where we learn that it's not worked. So he's got to go. The president's got to go and address the nation and the world to say it's not worked. By the way, in the first press conference that we saw him in, Morgan Freeman wanted to wear an earring. Like that. Wanted to wear an earring. So can I wear an earring? And Mimi Leader said, no. It's not presidential, to wear an earring. I don't know if presidents since then have had an earring in. I don't know, but she wouldn't let him wear an earring. She said it's not presidential. But later on, when we see him, give him one of these, TV things, we see him with his sleeves rolled up, and he's got a tattoo, which is Morgan Freeman's own tattoo, and she didn't mind that because at that point in the film, she wanted him to look like an everyman, looks like one of the guys sort of thing. But anyway, right. So I was going to tell everybody that it's failed, that the comet wasn't destroyed or knocked off from its orbit. It's just broken into two. So now we've got a comet that's 1.5 miles wide and one that's 6 miles wide. So, and they're both heading for Earth still. So they've buggered that up, haven't they? So the next plan for them to do is, they're going to prepare for the worst, basically. They do have another plan to try and knock them off course or destroy them. using lots of nukes, Meteor style. You know, the film Meteor from 1979 with Sean Connery and Natalie Wood. They all fired nukes at the Meteor, didn't they? But that didn't work. They're going to try that later. But in the meantime, that's what they're talking about with the Meteor. There we go. Missile Command. They're going to fire lots of them at the comet. But in the meantime, there's Denise Crosby again. I think that, I can't remember his name. I think that's Mimi Leader's husband. Let me check. Denise Crosby, where are you in the list? Vicky Hochtner. Right, what's her husband called? Chuck Gary Vance. Right, so I'm just going to click on him. I think he's the husband of Mimi Leader. Yes, he's been married to Mimi Leader since 1986. So there we go. Bit of nepotism, eh? So they're watching. Anyway, so while they are confident the missile attack will succeed, they're preparing for the worst. So what they're going to do now, there's going to be a lottery. They've set up underground bunkers where 1 million people are going to find refuge, just in case. And there's going to be a lottery. They've already pre-selected 200,000 people, who are essential people. But I think nobody over 50 will be in the lottery. So national security, what they call them, not national security. Social security numbers are going to be drawn at random for everybody under 50, and those will go to the arks, as they call them. There we go, storing seeds, seedlings, plants, animals, enough to start over. Even elephants and ostriches, as we'll see later. Anyway, so that's 200,000 have already been chosen. And 800,000 names are going in the lottery unless you're over 50. But some of the 200,000 that have been pre-chosen, some of them are over 50 because they'll be experts in whatever. Anyway, martial law now, and there's a curfew, and basically you'd be shot on sight, I suppose it's saying, if you're found, looting and stuff like that. Anyway, so the information about the lottery is going to be sent to the news teams, and they're going to tell the public what to do and what's going to happen. Right, so she's telling it all. All right, so obviously Vanessa Redgrave, Robin Lerner's, she's obviously not going to get selected to go because she's not important enough. And there's Chloe and whatever it is, Maximilian Schell. I don't know the name of his character. They're watching as well. Right, so telling them what they're going to do. Oh, and then the phone rings in the Biederman house. The phone rings, and Dretch Tiger's here saying, "You." The phone rings in the Biederman house, and we learn that they've been pre-selected, probably because Leo Biederman discovered the comet. So they've been pre-selected as his entire family. So Mr. Hochtner, he's Sarah's father. She's Sarah's mother. He heads out and says, maybe our phone's ringing. Maybe we've been selected as well. Who knows? Anyway. So, that's him going. But what's this? Oh, meanwhile, back on the Messiah, fixing things and getting stuff sorted. Anyway, so they're still alive. They're still okay. Look, they're all laughing. So they're going to head home. They have a vote about, what should they do, and they said, let's go home. So they're going home. Right, there we go. They can see the two comets getting ready. Does it say how? So they're heading back home. Oh, there we go. 4 weeks and 2 days to impact. Jenny and Robin are having a little get together. She says she stopped smoking, and she sent some of the gathering works of art. The government's gathering works of art to put in the bunkers, and she's given them some of her flashy gear. There must be a rich family. There you go, the Sheraton silver. So she says she's never been happy, which is not entirely true, as we'll see shortly. But anyway. Here we see the neighbourhood's gone to pot, hasn't it? All the houses boarded up, and it's all going on. The troops on the streets. I suppose a lot of the neighbours have already moved out. I don't know. I'd just be heading. Well, I don't know where I'd head, because we learned that the smaller part of the comet that's going to smash into the Atlantic Ocean, off the east coast of America, but the bigger piece, the planet killer one, essentially, that's going to hit Western Canada. So it doesn't matter where you go in America, I suppose, does it? But I'd be heading for the hills. That's what I'd be doing, and I bet a lot of people have done that. Anyway, here we learn that he's got a motorbike, as Mr. Hotchner, setting that up for later. He's gone to see Sarah anyway as Leo, and we learn that she's got a baby now. She's had a baby. Remember, she was expecting earlier on in the film. Now she's had a baby. So Sarah's up on the hill, so it's going to go and see her up on the hill. This scene, there were more to this scene, but they cut it down. And also, when they scouted this location, it were all lovely and green, all lush green grass and everything. And then when they came to film, whenever later, it had all died off. So it were all dusty and horrible. And Mimi Leader just says, "Welcome to California." Anyway, so he finds her. There we go. Be looking all over for her. He's had a brainwave. Heading to southern Peru at that point. He's just somewhere out of the way. Somewhere as far away from the impact as possible. Everybody in Australia is like, we're fine. Anyway, he's had a plan as Leo. He's decided if he gets married to Sarah, her and her family will be allowed to go into the ark, with him and his family. So that's his plan. So they're going to get married, and he's got 2 rings. Has he shown them? Kind of foreshadowing, isn't it? This is 1998. I think a year after this comes out, he headed down to New Zealand, didn't he, to play with golden rings. Like that. Hang on, where are we? There's the one ring. Well, you can see it. But there it is. Why don't you just put it on, make yourself invisible? So the comet can't hurt him. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's the plan. So they're going to get married. Like I said, they're only 16, so I don't know what the age of consent is in, or the youngest age you can get married in Virginia is. But I say it's 16 here. In the UK it's 16, but you've got to have permission from your parents. So maybe it's the same there. I don't know. Right, there, in the White House, there's looking out a window. We've seen that all around the world, there's fires and riots and stuff like that. Society's collapsing. It's all going to pot, is the world. And then we see Vanessa Redgrave, Robin Lerner. She's putting the makeup on and arranging all jewellery and stuff like that and making herself look nice. As her daughter's on the news. She's become one of the country's top news anchors now, apparently. We learn that people like her. I think she's rubbish myself, but I like her as an actress and in this film when she's not doing the news. But I think as a news anchor, I don't think she's very good. But anyway, seems a bit cold. Anyway, so Robin Lerner's doing all this stuff. We know what's going to happen. We know what she's doing it for. It's like a bit of a montage, is this part, because then we've seen the wedding. They're getting married. Is Sarah and Leo. She's putting the jewellery on, and it's a montage. and then she's going to lie down, and then she's done something. Right. Is it this? Is it this shot? There's supposed to be a scary face. They were told make the comet look scary, so they put like a scary. Oh, you can actually. It's got a scary face on the front of it. It's got like nostrils there, and like a wide open mouth, like it's screaming towards us. Is that an eye there? Going ah! Oh dear. So they're all snoozing. This is. I laughed at this. I must admit, I laughed at this. Let me go back a bit. This is fish doing some calculations. And that just reminded me of Wallace and Gromit. I am sinister. Yes, that's what it's saying, yes. And as you know, if you watched Life Force, which we did way back in the day on Friday Night Appointment with Fear, comets in the olden days, from Latin or something, meant disaster or disaster. I don't know. Anyway, this just reminded me of Wallace and Gromit, A Grand Day Out. You know, they build a rocket and he goes to the moon. There's Wallace and Gromit. It just reminded me of that because he drew the rocket and then he went and drew all the flames underneath. Just like that. So this is super accurate calculations, are they? Looks like it. He's got a plan that he's musing over. But in the meantime, he's going to go down and read Moby Dick to Orrin. So he learned that none of the others had brought anything good to read. So he brought Moby Dick and I think Huckleberry Finn. I think he said. Let's have a look. So what does it say? Could be wrong. Yes, Moby Dick and Huckleberry Finn is brought. So he's going to read them to, or one of them, to Orrin. So anyway, this is where we learn that Orrin, although he's blind, sometimes he says he sees flashes in his eyes, and then when he's asleep, when he's dreaming, and obviously he can see his dreams in his mind's eye, but it's like he's watching himself dream. It says it's all weird, and then he goes with fish, calls him Fish, and he says, "Why the hell do they call you Fish?" And there we go, Fish. Why the hell do they call you Fish? And he says, "Well, Sturgeon. That took about 15 minutes, my first day of the Naval Academy." But anyway, so then they have a read. They have a bit of a laugh. And, he talks about his wife, and, he misses her, but, they had good days and good years and bad years, but they ended on a great year, so it's all, good stuff. And then he's reading, "Call me Ishmael." There we go, he's reading Moby Dick, you can see it there, look. Actually, I've not read it. That's a quote from Win Grace. Right, so he's reading that. Right, so off they go. Right, they're coming now in the big bus, the military bus, to pick up the Biedermans and the not the Hotchners, because they're not on the list, we learn. So they're getting on the bus to go to the Ark. And he says, yes, Sarah can go, because, says, we're married, we've got a marriage license. He says, yes, she can go. He says, the rest of the family's not on the list. Sounds Swedish. Yes, he got the reference. But she's not there. So anyway, her family are telling Sarah, get on the bus, and she's saying, no, I'm not going without you. So there's a big doo-dah, whatever. She won't get on, and so he says, I'm not going without you. Anyway, they eventually drag Leo onto the bus as his family, and because the bus is leaving with or without you, the soldier says. So he says, we'll work it out when we get there. So they're separated already. They've just been married and they're separated already. So off they go. It gets all the way to the blooming Ark, which is supposed to be Missouri. I think they said Missouri, which is, I imagine it's. I'm not American geography. I'm not big on. I know most of the states are, but I imagine Missouri's quite away from Virginia. I think it is. Isn't Missouri more in the western part? I could be wrong. He gets all the way there, decides to go all the way back again. I could be wrong. I'm going to check. US map. Right, let's have a look. Images. Make sure we're still going. Let's have a little break. Make sure we're still going. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we're still going. Where were we? Missouri. Where the hell's Missouri? Don't tell me. Right, to Missouri. It's a fair old way. It's like, a third of the way across the country, isn't it? So, it's quite a drive. I imagine it'd take a day at least, I imagine, to drive all the way to Missouri. Missouri is in Midwest, yes. I've just checked on my map. Look, I'll show you. Look, hang on. I'll drag this across. There we go. I'll show you, look. It's there is Missouri. There's where it's supposed to be Virginia, aren't there? So it's a long way, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Nearly halfway across the country, not far off. Anyway, right. What have I done? Press wrong button. There we go. Missouri is close to Virginia. Not good. Did that map it in? Anyway. Not what I'd call close. I'm from the UK. But anyway. Just going to the seaside is a major operation. It's only like 60 miles away. Anyway, right, she's in the office. She gets a phone call. There's Jenny. It's where we learn this scene gets... A few scenes in this film actually do get me and, get all filling up. And this is one of them. Where she gets a phone call. She learns that her mother's died. Presuming she's taken her own life. How? We don't know. But presume she's taken her own life. Pills or whatever. I don't know. But she's got to go and sort it out. So they're all saying sorry and stuff. So she heads out. She grabs her mother's effects from the coroner's office. Everywhere is next door to you over there. Yes, it is. Who is winning football in Europe? I have no idea. Well, in Nevada, everything is about an 8-hour drive to anywhere. You shouldn't live in these big countries. You should live in little countries like I do. Anyway, right, where were we? She's getting her mother's stuff from the coroner's office. There we can see there. I think medical examiner. I think it says on the door. Yes, office of the chief medical examiner. It says on the door. Going to pick up her mother's stuff. So I don't know how did they find her? Did she phone them and say, "I'm killing myself, come and get my body," or what? Or did the neighbour call and find it? I don't know. It doesn't tell us, but somehow they found. You used to be a big country. We used to be an empire, me lad. Of many countries. We still are a commonwealth. With a quarter of the world's population. But it's not the British Commonwealth anymore. It's just the Commonwealth of Nations. Anyway, she's sitting outside in the rain, which is fake rain. She's actually down the street from the Capitol building. But they found, they wanted the Capitol building in the background, all lit up and looking cool. But so they turned, it's fake rain, it's movie rain. So they turned the rain on and the lights, the Capitol building vanished. They couldn't see it through all the rain, but never mind. She's sitting there being depressed, and then her dad appears in his flashy car. Tells her to get in the car. She doesn't want to. She's angry at him, and says, go home to Chloe. And he says, I can't. She's left me. She got scared. Oh, pardon me. She got scared, and she's gone to live with her mother. Oh, dear. And she doesn't care. She says, I feel like an orphan. And so she calls a taxi. Well, she hails a taxi. I've never done that. Never ever done that. I've never stood in the street and gone, taxi! I've always either got a taxi in a taxi rank or phoned for one. Can I have a taxi, please? It's just coming round your corner. Anyway, she leaves him there. She says, I feel like an orphan. She hates him. I think we're 5 days to impact now. Yes, 5 days to impact. This is the Chrysler building, isn't it? Which hopefully there isn't a big Aztec god beast reptile bird nesting up there, like we saw in Q, the Winged Serpent last Friday. Anyway, there we can see the. They've called one Biederman and one called Wolf, and I think Biederman's the smaller one and Wolf's the bigger one. That's what they've decided to do there. Right, here we are. There we go. Limestone Cliffs of Missouri. But it's somewhere in California. I forgot where they said it was. It's somewhere in Los Angeles somewhere. So they've arrived now, and then there we go. See, they've got there we go. They've got elephants and ostriches and what's that? They're raccoons or something. I don't know. And rabbits and chickens and all sorts and all that jazz. Oh, they're not raccoons. They are ring-tailed lemurs. I do apologise. And some sort of parrot there. Or macaw. So they've got lots of flamingos as well. There we go. So. Lots of people outside clamouring to get in. Obviously, they've not been chosen. And even somebody with this nearly set me off, actually. Hang on, I've gone too far. Somebody holding up the baby. Look, take my baby. Poor kid ruining. But no jackalopes, no. But, imagine how desperate you'd be. You know the world's coming to an end and you want somebody to save your child. So that's another thing that sets me off. Anyway, right, so this fella comes on the bus and says, right, follow me, we're going to take you to wherever section, this is going to be your home for the next 2 years. They've got to stay in there for 2 years, because when Wolf hits in Western Canada, that'll darken the skies for 2 years and all the plants and animals will die. It's an extinction level event, so they've got to stay there for 2 years. And this is when he decides he's not going. There's Leo. He says, I'm not going. There's another bit that sets me off as well coming up. So I've got to go there. I've got to go back for Sarah. And he doesn't argue. His mother does. His mother says, come on, coming back in. But his dad doesn't argue. And he just gives him his watch and some money and all that stuff for bartering. And gives him a big hug. And I'm going. I can feel me chin starting to start quivering. Because it's all manly stuff. Anyway, so he decides to go back now. So he's got to go from Missouri all the way back to Virginia. It's like 5 minutes away. Ben Kinsey already gated to Alpha Site. Yes, he did. Bet Kinsey, yes, he did. But the dodos would be on there, as politicians always save themselves. The president survives. Spoilers, Morgan Freeman's at the end of the film. Washington gets wiped out, but he's not. Obviously, the bundled him into Air Force One or one of the others, or the helicopter, whatever, and got him out of there. He's fine. Anyway. What's his name? I can Maximilian Schell. Where are you? Jason Lerner. He comes to see her at her place of work at MSNBC, and says, "I'm proof to you, you're not an orphan." Because she said to him, "I feel like an orphan." Yes, continuity of government. Yes. That took him to Cheyenne Mountain, probably. So he says, show that you're not an orphan. He's showing her a couple of photos of when she was a 5-year-old kid. Is it going to show us it? Oh, for God's sake, I bet I've gone too far, haven't I? No, never mind. So he's saying, we had a perfect day at the beach when you were 5 years old, and it were lovely, and then another photo as well. So that she's not giving an inch. There we go. She has a look at the photo. Right, this is Leo heading back to Virginia in the back of a truck, and they're listening to the radio. Of course, remember they're firing missiles up at the comets. So they've got to wait now to see if that works. Because we get an animated view of it, much like in Meteor from 1979. But that doesn't work either. So then we cut to the White House again. And here he is with his tattoo showing. There we go. Because he's Morgan Freeman's own tattoo. Because he's one of us. Sort of. But he's saying it's failed. Our missiles have failed. So that's it, basically. It's the end of the world. So, some are going into, 1 million people are going into the arks in America. Other countries have got their own things they're doing as well. So there'll be people all around the world in these bunkers. And so I don't know what he was planning to do, but, he's fine because he's at the end of the film. But this is where he's telling us that the small one's going to hit in the Atlantic Ocean off the East Coast. And the large one is going to hit in Western Canada, and that'll be the one that kills all life. The one that hits the Atlantic Ocean is going to create a tsunami that is going to wipe out pretty much all the east coast of the United States, and it's going to go over Europe and Africa as well, and kill millions there. So, the first time I watched this movie, this is where it ended. Oh, right. That's why I think I disliked it. Why did it end there? Anyway. And the water had come inland 600 to 700 miles, so you've got to get up into the mountains to escape it, and the larger comet fragment, that'll be the extinction level event. What we're seeing here. We're seeing the there we go, the two pieces. There we go, 10 hours, 37 minutes. I think we're going to see. There we go. We're on the Messiah, and Spurgeon Fish has got a plan. I don't know. I was watching it on TV. Oh. Or did they just end it all of a sudden? Anyway, he's got a plan. His plan, it says, when they blew it up, it's created a cavity in the large one. It says we can't do anything about the small fragment, but the large one, it's created a cavity in it like 2 kilometers deep. So he's saying, if we can get the remaining nukes, they've got 4 nukes left. I don't know what they're going to do with them, but they just had spares. They've got 4 nukes left. So his plan is to set off the nukes deep in this cavity. And, it says all that'll be left of the big piece is they'll be no bigger than a suitcase. Fingers crossed. But that's his plan. And they're all saying, but, we can't get in. We haven't got fuel or whatever and stuff to get in and land and get out. And they said, we don't. It's a one-way mission. So they need the codes for the nukes, the arming codes for the nukes. So they're going to have to get in touch with Mission Control. And this is where Mary McCormack says, well, look on the bright side, we'll all get high schools named after us. Which is a reference to the Challenger. I think the Challenger astronauts all got high schools named after them, didn't they? Right, so here we go. That's where they get in touch now with mission control. They all come running in. So he says, "We need the arming codes for the nukes." And he says, "What do you want them for?" He says, "Look, we can do or we can teach. What's it going to be?" So I said, "Right, let's get the arming codes." Meanwhile, back at MSNBC, they've got a chopper on the roof that can get people up to high ground, and there's only one seat left, so they're going to draw straws. The short straw gets the seat. So, and Jenny's already got a seat apparently. She's pre-selected to go because it's taking them to the Ark. That's it. So the one spare seat. So anyway, poor little kid, she didn't get one. I got a stick, and neither did Beth. This is the other scene that sets me off every time. And so did Elon Musk in Discovery before they realised they hated him. I don't know. I don't get that. Did Elon Musk get a high school named after him in Star Trek Discovery? Oh, right. I don't know. I don't remember. I'll take your word for that, Wingrace. Anyway, right. So, I think he's the one that's I think he's got the seat, so he's sat crying, I think. But anyway. Right. Meanwhile, Leo's arrived back in his neighbourhood. As you can see, it's all gone to pot, and there's Dobermans and other dogs roaming about. So he goes running into Sarah's house. He's not there because he thought they might be back at home, but they're not. So he goes running around the house. The motorbike, you remember from earlier, there were a motorbike in the garage. He's looking for the keys for it. So where's that key? Eventually finds the key, undoes the chains. Somebody had stolen it, wouldn't they? Looking at the state of of the neighbourhood, somebody had got them chains off and nicked that bike. But anyway, he's on the bike and he's off. And he had to learn how to ride a motorbike because he didn't know how to ride a motorbike when when he started this film. So he had to learn and got his licence and everything. Stamets went to Elon Musk High School or something, did he? Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Unbelievable. Anyway, so off he goes. Right, so they're on the highway. So everybody from the town or the neighbour, whatever's heading into the hills, and this was filmed. This is an actual, no CG in this. For the cars and stuff like that. Apparently, it's all actually there. They filled this section of highway. I think it was a road that it either just been built or they weren't using it for anything. I think it had just been built, I think. So, like this 2-mile stretch of road that they just filled full of cars and stuff like that. So, anyway, so he comes, hang on. Literally highway to the danger zone. Anyway, here he comes through the traffic, hoping to find, like proper needle in a haystack, trying to find one particular family. They must have like a really, a car that stands out or something. I don't know, but anyway. Right, so they get ready to go to the helicopter, and then she sees Beth. And the daughter just sitting there, she didn't know where to go, did Beth? So there you go. Road was so crowded. So this is the scene that sets me off. She grabs the kid. Oh, that's Dougray Scott. Oh, right. First time I've noticed him. That's Dougray Scott. Were he the cameraman at the beginning when they went to see James Cromwell? Don't know. Anyway. She grabs the kid, says, "Right, where are you taking me, kid?" And they get up to the helicopter. And then she says to Beth, "You're taking my seat." So she gives her seat up. And I can feel myself going again. So, she's not going to the Ark. She's sending Beth and her daughter to the Ark. I can see all the helicopters flying away, heading to safety. So... And if you notice, in her hand, I think she's got the photograph that her dad gave her. So she's heading to the seaside. Meanwhile, Leo, he finds them. He's calling out, Sarah, Sarah. Anyway, obviously he finds them. There we go. She gets on top of the car and she's... I think he goes past them, doesn't it? She sees him ride past. So she gets... And she's going, like that. So anyway, they're reunited and then... But so the parents just give Sarah, a baby carrier thing. They give her the baby. Say, take the baby and go get to higher ground. So another scene that sets me off because they're all crying. So anyway, so off they go, getting the baby away. Right, and Jenny arrives at obviously they're a rich family. They've got a house by the sea. She sees her dad on the beach. On the beach, by the way, I forgot to mention earlier on, Mimi Leader, when she got this film, she was in post-production for The Peacemaker, and Steven Spielberg came to her and said, just a minute. Forgot what I want now. Mimi Leader. During the pre-production on I forgot what I was saying now. Peacemaker. That was it. Not pre-production, post-production on the Peacemaker. Steven Spielberg came to her because he's the producer, one of the producers on this. And said, we've got this film, the science fiction film, Deep Impact. Want you to direct it. She says, well, I don't do science fiction. And I was thinking, but Peacemaker were kind of science fiction, ish. Anyway. Says, I don't do science fiction. I'm not interested in science fiction. He says, well, you'll be, you'll be able to do it. He says, you'll be fine. So she accepts, but she thinks, I'm not going to go watching all loads of science fiction films. The only science fiction films you watched were On the Beach from 1959, starring Gregory Peck. That's the only science fiction films you watched, which I've not seen, but I've read about it, and it seems really good, which is about, the Earth after a nuclear conflagration. But anyway, so that's why they're on the beach, because that was one of her inspirations in the film. Right. So they have a reconciliation. She says she does remember that day at the beach, and it was a perfect day. There you go. So they have a reconciliation. But then Biederman arrives. Here it comes. Then all the people watch it going over. There you go. You see it in the reflection. There it goes. I don't know if it'd look like that in real life. I don't know. It might do. I don't know. We saw that meteor, the Chelyabinsk meteor, didn't we? We saw that coming over, and that were kind of like that. Not quite as big as that, but I suppose maybe so. Anyway, we see it. Here it comes. There it goes, flying over the sea, and then it impacts. Boom in the sea. Sends out a shockwave. Look, and then there's going to be a big tsunami coming. Make sure we're still going. Make sure we're still going. I think we are. Has everything calmed down now? Looks like it, doesn't it? Right, so here we go. Here comes the tidal wave, the tsunami. Takes out these oil rigs. And then she goes, Daddy! That's another thing that sets me off. So the waiting, all the birds are flying inland, and then the sea gets pulled out into the thing, and then the tidal wave comes. Then we can see them, they're there on the beach, knowing they're going to die any second. There they go. Spladosh. And then we see New York get got. There it is. The World Trade Center towers. That's all we see at the end. This next bit. It shows people getting washed away with all the water. By the way, at this bit I'm on about, this film were one of the first ones that, one of the pioneers for water, CGI water. They said without this, they wouldn't have been able to do A Perfect Storm, which was the next big CGI water film. So anyway, they filmed this bit in New York. This little fella here just sitting there, oblivious to what's going on around him, and he just gets washed away. Look, whee! Oh dear. Maybe he's deaf. I don't know. Anyway, here comes the water coming and going to wash away Denise Crosby and Mimi Leader's husband. Meanwhile, they're still on the road. Oh no, they're off the road now, heading up into the hills. Here's Times. Is it Times Square or is it another part of New York? Don't know. Anyway, there you can see the buildings coming down and the water arriving, and there we go. Looks cool. There we go. That's all that's left of New York is just the top of the Twin Towers. One of them's toppled into the other. But anyway, there we see more water heading in. That doesn't look great, I must admit. Don't over-examine it. But they're heading up into the hills. They're in the Appalachians, apparently. Anyway, meanwhile, on the Messiah, they're going to fly into the comet. Here they go. But on the way to their doom, they're going to talk to their families. So, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Oddly enough, this scene doesn't set me off. Where all the families are crying at each other and the astronauts. But her taking the kid and putting the kid on the helicopter, saying, you're taking my seat, that sets me off every time. Even now I'm filling up, thinking about that. But anyway. Right, so they're heading in, and right, so they're watching. You know, they're all saying goodbye, love you, blah blah, and in they go. Oh, she says, a pleasure serving with you, Commander, because remember he's the commander of the mission now, even though he's a captain. And he says, the honour's all mine. So in they go. Oh, and he puts his hand on the screen. That was a blue screen. There wasn't actually anything on that screen. It was a blue screen. So they did a good job there, didn't they, of superimposing that? Well, I think they did. Right, so there we go. In they go. And boom! There we go. That's the end of Wolf. Just all that's left is, let's say, tiny fragments that burn up in the atmosphere. I'm not entirely sure that would happen. I don't know. Because they've always said, haven't they, astronomers, that if you blow up an asteroid, you're just going to, instead of it just being one bullet hitting the Earth, it's going to be like a shotgun blast. But I don't know. Have you more chance of surviving a shotgun blast? I don't know. But depends how close you are, doesn't it? But anyway, all the fragments burn up in the atmosphere, or most of them, I imagine, burn up in the atmosphere. So the Earth is saved. Obviously, there's a catastrophe. There we go. Look, at the end of Independence Day. But they've got to safety. They're all cut and bruised from their climb and bike ride, and the baby's safe. But it's all cool, and then we see the water. There we go. Even now, starting to recede, going down again. All that were hand animated, apparently. This water, CG, but done by hand, apparently. But then we cut to Washington D.C. There we go. President's fine. They got him to safety. They said, we have prevailed, but millions died, but we can rebuild thanks to the sacrifice of the Messiah and the crew and all that. And then it cuts to the crowd and the rebuilding the Capitol building and all that stuff and other things. And that's the end. There we go. Directed by Mimi Leader. And I love that film. I think it's miles better than Armageddon. Armageddon's fun, but, it's Michael Bay, isn't it? So... it's very shouty, isn't it? It's a Michael Bay film, whereas this is more thoughtful, and I do enjoy it. And more realistic. I think this one's more realistic, even though it does take liberties, with the realism, as films always do, and that's fine. But I do prefer this over Armageddon. So anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of, and it's a Contact then, Deep Impact. A cool film. I said there were a lot of cool sci-fi films coming out. That's in the late 90s. Like I say, we had this and Contact and Armageddon and stuff. But anyway, so there we go. Right, I'll get rid of that. Make myself big. There we go. Right, so we're all done and dusted. Finally, God, after a shaky start. Oh, it was a nightmare, wasn't it? What a nightmare with that. So we'll leave it there. Let me have a drink. Oh dear. Apologies for my squeaky chair. It needs to get some WD-40 on it. It's all squeaky. Right, what's coming up next? What day are we on? Monday. Wednesday will be my news stream. Then Friday, where have I put it? There it is. Friday's Appointment with Fear. This week, we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street. The original one, obviously. And then next week's Magnificent Mondays, fingers crossed, is going to be Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, but not with Survivor singing the theme song. Starring Patrick Wayne as Sinbad the Sailor, and Patrick Troughton. Lots of Patricks in this film. Patrick Troughton and others, and Jane Seymour. And then next Friday for Appointment with Fear, not this Friday, next Friday, we're doing Pearl, cool film, award-winning, and deservedly so. Right, so we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. Just making sure again we're still going. Yes, we are. Right, so. Ooh, cracky. Right, so anyway, I've got to see what Aidan wants now, my son. That's why I went off for a few seconds. He were calling me. Right, so we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll say that. By the way, I forgot to say it. Thanks, Win Grace, and thanks, Laura, and thanks, Josh Temple, and Rich Tiger, for keeping me company and keeping me sane. And thanks, Josh Temple, for your super generous super chat. Helps keep the lights on, even though I've not got anything yet of YouTube. You've got to reach a level which I haven't reached yet. But anyway, when it does come, it'll go towards it. Right, so thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see you there.